Good morning from downtown Bahrain, the day after the very first race of season 2023, and I was right up front and centre at Parc Fermé last night, and I'm going to lead off with that, well, in 8 seconds' time. Congratulations to Max Verstappen, another easy runaway win for the magnificent driver from Red Bull. And Checo Perez backed it up with a 1-2 on the podium. But that wasn't the story. The story was, without a doubt, Fernando Alonso's return to the podium in the Aston Martin. There was a great buzz in the paddock on Friday and Saturday about Fernando's magnificent form, also about Lance Stroll returning with that hand. But I want to go straight to Parc Fermé because I got there early, queued up, got a great spot right on the fence. The two Red Bull drivers bring their cars in, and then Fernando drops his car in the third spot, took these lovely pictures. Unfortunately, they turned the darn lights off in that area, so it was so dark. Probably didn't have the right lens either for that darkness. But anyway, he came towards me. Now, there is a line of fences there which are only very flimsy. I'm right up against that. Fernando comes to hug his mechanics just next to me, and next thing you know, I'm going over. There's such a surge of people behind me, mainly Aston Martin crew, pushing me. But I did get these pictures here once I got my balance. But I thought at one stage, I'm going to end up on the deck and look pretty stupid along with a few other people with me. But I wasn't unhappy with these pics. And as you can see, it looks like he's almost taking the camera out of my hand in this one. I then jumped up onto the photographer's platform and got some great shots of him and the other two accepting their trophies up on the podium. And then it was off to the press conference. And Fernando was the last one in there. What does that mean? Well, it means he was the most in demand down in the TV media pen. And while the other two Red Bull drivers were waiting for Fernando, they seemed to be preoccupied with everybody's race shoes. And even when Fernando came in, they too focused on that. Oh, and what did you think of the new press conference setup? I thought it was good where you have the drivers on a couch. We had 5 of them on the Thursday, and then the 3 obviously after the race and after quality. But that was just one story from a magical weekend in Bahrain where we had some quite lovely weather. I want to go back to Alex Albon's eye. I was flicking through some pictures at one stage and I noticed in this close-up he has what I thought was a pterygium. My wife had one, but apparently it is a mole. I asked him about it, and very visible, but yet not going over the top of his pupil. On Sunday, there was a big throng of people waiting outside the swipe gates, and there was quite an unorderly gathering. Carlos Sainz here was absolutely mobbed by people, and shortly after that, F1 decided to put this barrier of tape down one side so the drivers could get in without any, annoyance. But Logan Sargent was clever because he timed his arrival such that all of the attention was on Carlos, and he got in scot-free. I'm going to jump around all over the place here. I'm going to go to driver's briefing on Friday night. All the drivers, an hour and a half after the last session, come to the press conference room where they have a meeting. And that's a great opportunity for us to get some lovely pics. Yuki Tsunoda with a big smile on his face, George running, as he often does now, to get anywhere on time, and a number of others. What girlfriends were at the track this weekend, I hear you cry? Well, girlfriends and sisters, because Nick De Vries had his sister Seychelles with him, and when the pair were walking in, bear in mind I've only photographed his girlfriend Eva Bruggenworth, I think, once, so I wasn't quite sure whether it was her, and he could obviously tell after I'd stopped shooting. I'm sort of looking at her, looking at him, and he goes, "My sister Kim, it's my sister." Okay, thank you. And he introduced me to Seychelles. But girlfriends-wise, we had Carmen Munt, George Russell's girlfriend. Some of you said that she was quite ill last week and you were surprised to see her there. But she was in pretty good spirits, I thought. I didn't pick up any remnants of an illness. Kelly Piquet joined Max Verstappen, and you can see her here at Parc Fermé after Saturday's qualifying. Oscar Piastri's girlfriend Lily was at the track. She's 21 and she's a beautifully spoken English woman. And I can tell you that if you've seen the internet, you might have seen a number of these different stories, and I don't know where they've come from, but it is absolutely not true. We spoke about that for a little bit on Sunday morning, and she's as miffed as I am as to where these people have got the idea that she's going out with Logan. Never happened. She's always been going out, well, for the foreseeable past, has only been going out with Oscar Piastri. Kevin's wife, Louise, I spotted her on some Instagram pics and then found her at the back of the garage on race morning. Tiffany Cromwell was there, I believe. No, I don't believe. I actually saw her. I just didn't take a photo of her. It was great to see Nico Hulkenberg's wife, Eglay, back at the track, or Sunny, as she's known, and this outfit on Saturday was an absolute mind-bender. Oh, and the last time I took a photo of Eglay at the track was 2019, out the back of the FIA garage, after what we thought might have been his last ever race. Turns out that wasn't the case, and he did pretty well, didn't he? Qualifying 10th, but didn't manage to bring home the bacon during the race. And finally, Fernando Alonso's girlfriend, Andrea Schleger, was there. I want to jump back to Lily in these particular pictures. Now, these pictures are a little bit different because they're taken with a rather unusual lens. This is it. And it's quite a small lens, and I'm going to show you this because it's a little unusual, right? That's the size of it. It's made by a company called MS Optics out of Japan. It's an f1.0 lens. Very little of the picture's in focus, so it might be my eyelash, but my ear's out of focus and my nose is out of focus, but it gives a very soft feel to the images, and I got Lily to agree to a quick portrait shoot. I photographed Federica Maslin with it, and even Lando Norris. And as you can see in the background, those lights, the fairy lights on the trees, come up amazing with this particular lens. Where did I get it? Well, I've got to thank a local for that. This gentleman here, who shoots black and white on film, allowed me to use it. So indeed, thank you for that, and I absolutely love the look of these images. Now, not super sharp, but you get away with it because of the dreamy, soft feel to these pictures. And speaking of pictures, why don't you jump over to kimillman.com, go to the shop and have a look at what signed driver and team principal prints I have on offer. These are hand signed and importantly numbered, and they're a limited edition, and you get a digital pic of the person signing your print as irrefutable proof of authenticity. Oh, Ferrari has a new sponsor. This is their logo here. I can tell you this is actually a Perth company. I'm from Perth. I was very surprised to see Lawrence Escalante's company sponsoring Ferrari, and in a big way. I did a video about Lawrence's cars called the Lee Collection going back some time ago. There's a link in the description, and this fella has an absolute dream collection of hard to get and very expensive cars. And what does the business do? Well, it's in online gambling. But if you search that particular company name, you can't spend any money with them. So I think it's more for corporate branding than it is for actually generating income. On Saturday night, I was waiting to go out to shoot the track session. I was waiting for a media shuttle, and I look up and I see the sun behind the Ferris wheel. And I managed to get this shot. I thought it was okay, but gee, it was very popular on Instagram. So obviously it struck a chord with you. Had I take it, I simply had a long 600mm lens, and I moved around such that I got the basket of the Ferris wheel right in between me and the sun. Was this a busy race for me? Yes, it was. I was out at the track for some 52 hours over the 4 days, but I want to show you this. This is my last 5 days of steps. I've walked 71 kilometers in 5 days. That's what happens when you photograph F1 at a track like this. You do a lot of walking. Well, after the race had finished on Sunday night, I went out into pit lane. There were 2 events going on. One was the celebration shot for the double podium, which didn't end up in the same sticky mess with the Red Bull that normally happens. But the other one was perhaps more exciting for me because it was unusual. I've seen plenty of the other Red Bull ones. Was this one up at Aston Martin for Fernando's third. It's some time for Fernando to front, and shortly after that Lance came out and there was a lovely embrace between the two. And then, as is the norm, TV and photographers gather round tight as Fernando celebrates with his crew, and there was lots of hugs and kisses and holding of trophies. And it was a great, fervent, passionate atmosphere down there. So I think this year we're going to see more of Fernando Alonso up on the podium, and possibly even, with a bit of luck, on the top step. For race start, I went up to the tower at turn 1, and as they came towards me, you probably would have seen this on the replay, the sparking on the left-hand side of the track was absolutely mega. Later on, I actually went down to that area on the inside of the track and photographed a number of photographers who were aiming for these sparking shots, and it's a pretty amazing spot to shoot from. Of course, you can't help but feel sorry for Charles Leclerc. After looking like he would get a podium, that car let him down. Here he is in the media conference post-race and would have no doubt been very, very disappointed. So what's next? Well, it's Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, and I'm going there on Tuesday. So I'll be doing a travel video, and I hope you've watched my Lando height gate video. It's been very popular. If you want to know exactly Lando's height, I am the man to speak to because I actually measured him with a tape measure. And yes, you can still win that tape measure by getting onto that post, making a comment below, and it's signed by Lando Norris. And he even put his height on there. Oh, and thank you to the organisers. We all got one of these number plates, 5th of March 2023, although the Americans amongst you will say, hey, isn't that the 3rd of May? No. With that said, I'm going to thank you for watching this video and getting right to the end. Well done to you. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so, and become a member for a range of extras. You'll find all of my digital images at prostarpics.com. My new Bahrain Grand Prix photo book's out. You can get that at kimillman.com, where you can also get my merchandise, F1 wall art, and one other thing, signed prints by drivers and team principals. And during the week and at the track, get all of my best images at Instagram by searching at Kim Illman. Thanks for watching and stay passionate.